So, as we discuss racism in the classroom, it's important to talk about it in terms of the past and that those things that happened in the past are also still happening today. It might be a little bit harder to see for some people, but these structures that we have set up throughout our society are still in place today, and they still hold whiteness above blackness. And so a way that we can talk about that too is to talk about what used to happen in the past and how it was really obvious, but everyone was on board with it. Everyone believed that whites should be separated from blacks. And so this story shows, it talks about the sit-in. So it's called Sit-In, how four friends stood up by sitting down. These are about four men who came and sat down at a whites-only restaurant, and they just ordered, and they thought they were inspired by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and so there's some really great quotes like, "We must meet hate with love." And so they decided to sit down and order donuts and coffee with cream on the side and just peacefully wait until they were served. And so it just shows the power of peacefully protesting and just meeting oppression with love, just sitting down, ordering, saying, "I am a person just like anyone else and I deserve to be served here." And so this seemingly simple act is shown to be a really courageous one, because it shows that people during that time were very reluctant to have black people sitting with white people because they are not the same. They are not treated equally. And so it shows that that throughout they would go sit there day after day, and day after day they were not served. And so people became afraid and they got angry. White people thought these people should not be at our restaurant. And so, let me see here. It talks about how hateful it got, that people were pouring hot coffee down their backs and flinging milkshakes at their faces, and just really hateful things, while these people just sat and stayed peacefully. And I love just the bolded quotes. "Practicing peace while others showed hatred was tougher than any school test." So this book is written in a poetic form, and it just shows how they kept up, they stayed with it, and day after day they came and more people joined, and so it grew bigger and bigger. And then finally it just shows how, because people decided to peacefully do what they thought they should be allowed to do, because they are humans, everyone should be treated with the same respect, then they were able to integrate certain things like buses and restaurants. And another part of the bolded quotes: "A donut and coffee with cream on the side is not about food, it's about pride." These were the words that filled them up. And so it just shows how much inner strength that people had to have when all of society is saying, "You don't belong here, you do not deserve to be sitting at the same table." And through a peaceful protest of just staying and sitting and showing love instead of hatred, these four friends stood up for what they thought was right, and they created real change. And so you can really talk about how this was a really prevalent form of racism that maybe it does not necessarily happen today, but because these people stood up for what they believed, they created change. And so we need to learn from these people, and also think about things that are happening in our society today that we can stand up for, because without people standing up for change, then it wouldn't be this way today. So this is a really great way to start that conversation, and you can talk about what students have seen in their lives and ways that they've seen other people treated differently, or the ways that people have stood up for their beliefs in a peaceful way. So I think some really great discussions can go along with that, just having students draw or write about what they believe in and how this story has affected them. So this would be upper grade, maybe 3rd through 5th, just because it could be a little bit younger as well, depending on how mature your classroom is. But I think it's a great conversation starter.